Good morning, everyone. Desiree here. This is my week 6 discussion board. Can't believe that we're all almost done. So this week we read Minding My Own Business and Practicing the Paradox. I could see why this was left maybe towards the end of our class, where we could kind of grasp what they were talking about a little bit more in depth. I must admit I did have to read Practicing the Paradox twice. The first time that I read through it, I just was like, I don't know what just happened. And so I read through it again, and it reminded me how important it is to really read for a purpose and try to pull out what you really can and need at this moment. So in Minding My Own Business, I liked her writing style. It had like a sense of fun and playfulness, which I appreciated. And I've never heard of Deb before. So that was the first time I'd been introduced to her or Shaw or Weaver. And so I did a little bit of research on the side just so that I could have some context of, what Split Britches kind of did and is, and how it became a thing, not just from the one chapter. I loved her quote about what you do in a fire drill may bear no resemblance to what you do in an actual fire, but your odds of survival are greatly improved based on your practice. So last night in my my own acting experience, I was thinking about this. We had started rehearsal. We were in the middle of a scene. Someone was late. They rushed in, didn't know where they were at. We had people who were in the wrong place, in the wrong chair, forgot a line, went over the top of someone else. And it was just like this comedy of errors, right? And everyone was having to react truthfully to it. And we were trying to get through it. Eventually we stopped and regrouped. But I thought about that a lot I was trying to react in the moment, because if that was something that was going to happen, someone missed a line, someone comes in late, how was I going to react and move the show along? And even though I can prepare for those, in the moment, in front of an audience, with a little bit of anxiety and lots of adrenaline, I may not respond that way, but I do have a better chance of getting back on, fixing it, not breaking character, and of course not giving our director a heart attack. So I love that. She talked a lot about how her method kind of morphed and changed as the girls developed this group, and that ultimately, we're all just trying to get to the same end goal. And if you get there a different way, as long as you are relaying your character and the audience gets your message and they come away with some sense of understanding and love for the theater, that you've done your job, right? And that you've done your character some justice. I think that's something we always try to do. So the end of her chapter, when she kind of gave just like this little snippet of something that happened to her life and how she reacted to it, and just unpredictability of life and how you think it might end up, was great. I love that she blew off this guy at the end and was just like, I need to go do these things. So that was kind of fun. That was cute. I appreciated the humor and all of it. In Practicing the Paradox, wow, I struggled, like I said. I guess what I ended up having to do is, first of all, go back to what a metaphor is, like the basic definition, and try to remember what 4th grade was like. I do teach 3 through 6, so I see kids struggle with metaphors, right? They're so literal. And so I had to do that. I had to go back and think about what are we comparing? How are we getting these things to be similar? And I appreciated a lot of the examples. So the tension relaxation example was really in depth, and like you could pull that out and use that right away. I liked them talking about giving an example of like sensory work, called it work instead of just memory, but like putting in the work to do it. I've never done that before. We have tried to do some reactions to like sounds or but never smells. I always thought it would be really neat to do a show where we could have all of those addressed, and so we've tried to put, you know, like bubbles and texture on the walls, and we've tried to do like those smelly air fresheners and things, but to really be in, you know, entrenched in it. I think the Sphere kind of does that in Vegas, and I would love to see that. If anybody's seen that, I'd love to hear about it. But just playing to every single piece of a human being and drawing them in, I think is a really cool concept. I'd love to not just be a part of it, but see how it would impact one of our productions to try to be a little bit more mindful of people's sensory issues. You know, in our programs, we always put things like there's going to be fog, strobe lights, loud noises, but I think that the majority of people who attend some kind of art performance know that those things are going to be part of it, and so maybe leaning into that a little bit more would be interesting. As far as the kind of what I got out of it, I guess it's just putting a name to what we're already doing or what we're already trying to do, and then making it more purposeful, having a reason to do that. I use a lot of imagery to create my own characters, but now I'm a lot more aware of how and why I should be doing it, not just because it's a natural thing that I do. So that's what I got out of this week. We're almost there. I hope you have a good week 6. Bye.